At 2:17 a.m., my wife's phone buzzed on the bathroom counter and lit up with a message from a contact named service/delivery/work, and the second I heard a man's voice answer that number, I knew I was about to treat my own marriage like a scene call, document first, react later. I'm 29, Pittsburgh born and raised, and I work EMS. The schedule is the schedule, 24 on, 48 off, which sounds like you're always around until you realize those 24 hours can stretch into a whole other life. You learn fast that chaos kills and consistency saves time, and time saves people. I brought that home without thinking, keys on the hook, shoes lined up, mail stacked clean. My wife used to tease me for it. Mr. System, she'd say, like it was cute. After brutal shifts I'd run along the river trail until my brain shut off and the city turned into streetlights and breath. It helped. But you can't outrun lies, not the kind that live in your own kitchen. Her name is Marissa. We'd been married 3 years, long enough that you stop calling it new and start calling it real. She worked downtown in an office job that always seemed to have some last-minute, urgent thing. Lately she'd been talking about a coworker named Evan like he was nothing. "Oh, Evan's just helping," she'd say. "He's nice. He gives me rides sometimes when my car's acting up." Sometimes. That word became a splinter. It started small, the way bad calls do, a wrong vibe, a detail that doesn't fit. Marissa began guarding her phone like it was a wound, screen face down, always. If I walked into a room, it slid closer to her. If I reached for it, never to snoop, just to move it or hand it over, she'd snap. "Don't touch it, there's work stuff on it." Work stuff. On a Tuesday night. On the couch. I tried to be reasonable. I tried to be the guy who doesn't jump to conclusions because he's tired and sees the worst in people all day. People make mistakes, I believe that. But hiding things is different. When someone hides things, they've already chosen a side. The night it clicked wasn't dramatic. Just a normal Pittsburgh evening, wet sidewalks, winter dark coming early. I got off shift feeling like my bones were filled with sand. Marissa was in a good mood. Too good. She kissed me, asked about my shift like she was checking a box. We ate dinner, watched TV, and she laughed a little louder than usual. Then she said she was going to shower because tunnel air made her feel gross, another one of her new little sensory excuses for rinsing off the second she got home. When she went upstairs, her phone stayed downstairs. That alone was weird. She took it everywhere. I didn't pounce. I sat on the couch, listened to the water start upstairs, and tried to force my brain to shut up. Then the phone vibrated, quick, insistent. The screen lit up face up for once, like it wanted me to see. Service/delivery/work, you still thinking about yesterday? My stomach dropped like the moment tones go off and you know it won't be simple. I didn't touch the phone at first. I didn't need to. The emoji wasn't subtle, and service/delivery/work wasn't a person, it was a disguise. When the screen dimmed, the room felt too quiet. Ordinary sounds upstairs, water on tile, like my life was still intact. I waited until my hand steadied, then picked up the phone like it was evidence. The lock screen let me see recent calls without opening anything, the same number again and again. 11:48 p.m., 2 minutes, 12:13 a.m., 3 minutes, 1:02 a.m., 2 minutes, short calls, late night, not work, not anything you do when you respect your spouse. Upstairs, the shower shut off. I put the phone back exactly where it had been, same angle, same spot, then stood in the kitchen staring into a drawer like I'd forgotten what I opened it for. My brain replayed her voice, "He's just helping. He's just giving me rides." Marissa came down in sweatpants, hair wrapped in a towel, lavender shampoo filling the air. "You okay?" she asked. "Yeah," I said, and hated how easy it sounded. "Just tired." She offered tea. I said no. She touched my chest like she could feel the lie humming under my skin. I missed you. I nodded because I didn't trust my voice. When she went to bed, I stood there staring at the stairs like they led to a different house. Then I did something I never do off duty. I called that number. Not from my phone, not from anything tied to me. I used an old spare we keep charged in my bag, no contacts, no name. I stepped onto the porch where the cold slapped me awake and the streetlight made the wet pavement shine. 1 ring. 2. 3. My thumb hovered over end call. Then, hello. A man's voice, calm, confident, like he expected whoever was calling. My throat locked. Hello. He repeated, and there was a smile in it, like he was amused. The world narrowed to that one sound, a man answering the number saved in my wife's phone under a fake name. I ended the call and stood in the cold listening to the city breathe, indifferent. Inside, Marissa moved around our bedroom humming, living in the lie like it was furniture. Right then I made the choice that would shape the next week of my life. I wasn't going to confront her tonight. Not yet. Because on calls, you don't scream at the scene, you secure it. You gather what's real. I didn't sleep. Not the normal tossing and turning kind. I lay there listening to the house breathe, listening to her breathing beside me, slow and even, like she hadn't just built a trapdoor under my feet. In the morning she rolled over with soft eyes and routine. Babe, you okay? You were kinda distant last night. I stared at the ceiling. Just tired. She kissed my shoulder. You always say that. The job teaches you to function on sleep debt, but this tired was different. This tired had teeth. She got up and went into the bathroom, phone with her, of course. Over the next day I watched her the way I watch a patient when the story doesn't match the symptoms, calm face, steady hands, ask the same thing twice and listen for the shift. She moved like someone managing 2 realities at once. When she laughed, it landed a beat late. When she hugged me, it felt firm, like she was holding something in place. When she talked about work, she used vague words, stuff, things, like specifics were landmines. That evening I cooked pasta because my brain needed something normal. Marissa wrapped her arms around my waist. You're being sweet, she said. Just cooking, I answered. You haven't asked about my day. It felt rehearsed, like she wanted to label me weird before I labeled anything else. How was your day? I asked. She smiled fast. Busy. Evan had to give me a ride again. There it was, served like weather. Again, I repeated. She shrugged. Cars still making that noise. He offered. It's no big deal. In my head I saw the call log, the message, the fake contact name. I nodded like a husband hearing about harmless office logistics. What time did he pick you up? She blinked. What? What time? I kept my voice mild. Normal time. Like, 5. 5. Yeah. Why? No reason. I plated the food. Where'd he drop you off? At the store. The lie came out too smooth. I ate in silence and watched her watch me. She hated silence, but she stayed quiet because she was listening for me to bite. I didn't. I asked, which store? Tiny pause. Giant Eagle, she said. Which one? Her face tightened. Why are you interrogating me? I'm making conversation, I said. She chose anger, then tried sweetness, then anger again. The one on Liberty. I needed shampoo, whatever. Why does it matter? Because I know you didn't. Out loud, it doesn't. Just curious. She stabbed at the pasta like it offended her. You've been weird. Did something happen on shift? No. Are you mad at me? I looked at her, same face I'd watched laugh, cry, press into my chest after nightmares, and now she was lying like it was reflex. Why would I be mad at you? She threw her hands up. Because you act all calm and then drop some bomb later. You always do that. In the ambulance, calm is survival, panic spreads. At home I'd never used calm like a weapon, until now. Marissa, I said quietly. How often is Evan giving you rides? Her eyes narrowed. Why are you so focused on Evan? I'm not. You're the one bringing him up. She leaned forward, trying to make this my fault. He's just being helpful. You're gone a lot, okay? It's nice to have someone what? I asked, still gentle. Someone to help. Or someone to keep you company. Her face flashed, anger, fear, then practiced calm. Are you accusing me of something? I'm asking you a question. You're being paranoid. Am I? I said. Last week you told me you were at Target after work. I drove past Target on my way to the station and your car wasn't there. Her eyes widened for half a second. Then, so now you're tracking me? I drove past on my route, I said. I just noticed. Maybe I parked in the back. You always park up front, I said, colder than I meant. You hate walking in the dark. She scrambled for a new version. I didn't go to Target. I went to Walgreens. I don't know. Why are you doing this? Because your stories keep changing. She looked genuinely offended, like I'd attacked her character instead of naming reality. My stories? Oh my God. You're exhausted and making things up. I'm not making anything up. She stood and paced. This is insane. You're accusing me of cheating. With Evan? I didn't answer. That silence was the most honest thing in the room. Her voice turned soft, desperate. I would never do that to you. I love you. You're my husband. Then, too quickly, Evan has a girlfriend, okay? He's not even like that. I almost laughed at how useless that sentence was. You're my husband, she repeated. You're the one I chose. I looked up at her. Then why are you hiding your phone? Her face froze. What? Why does it always go face down? Why do you take it into the shower? Why do you freak out if I touch it? She blinked hard. Because you're nosy. I've never been nosy. Well, maybe you are now, she snapped, then softened like she realized yelling wouldn't work. It's work stuff. Emails, client info. I could get in trouble. On your personal phone? Yes, she said too loud. I stood up slowly, controlled. Cornered people do stupid things, drain accounts, delete messages, rewrite reality. I'm not trying to fight, I said. I'm trying to understand why everything feels off. Nothing is off. Okay. That single word made her flinch because she expected me to chase. Instead I rinsed my plate like I was done. Okay, she said, confused. That's it? I looked at her with the calm face I use when someone on scene is screaming. Yeah. That's it. Relief loosened her shoulders. She came close, voice sweet. Babe, come on. You know I'm not, I raised a hand, not aggressive, just stop. I'm going for a run. I need my head clear. Right now? Yeah. What about me? There it was, not are we okay, but are you leaving me alone with my secrets? I grabbed my hoodie from the hook, always the same hook, slipped on my shoes. I'll be back, I said. Don't be mad, she whispered. I'm not mad, I said, and it was true in a strange way. Anger is hot and fast. What I felt was colder. Outside, the air hit sharp and clean. I ran the same route I always do, rowhouses, slick sidewalks, streetlights smeared across wet pavement, but it didn't clear my head. It sharpened it. This wasn't a fight anymore. This was a scene. And I wasn't going to scream at it. I was going to document it. When I got back, Marissa was on the couch under a blanket, TV low, acting like I'd just been dramatic. "You feel better?" "Yeah," I said, and went straight to the sink to wash my hands. Habit, control. "You're not mad, right?" she asked again. I dried my hands on the same towel, folded it the same way. "I'm tired. I'm going to bed." Upstairs she brushed her teeth with her phone propped against the mirror like a guard dog. When her breathing got heavy, I got up. Not like a guilty man sneaking around, like a medic stepping away from a stretcher to grab the right tool. Downstairs, the house was dark and familiar. Her phone wasn't on the counter this time. Fine. We had an old iPad in the living room, the house tablet, still logged into her Apple account from years ago because she'd never bothered to sign out. I pulled it from the drawer, charged it, and sat at the dining table like I was doing paperwork after a call. When it booted, notifications popped up like sparks. Service/delivery/work again. No lock screen. No password. Just the quiet reality of someone getting lazy with their secrets. I didn't scroll like a starving man. I looked for what mattered: dates, times, pattern. "You home yet?" Yesterday was hard to stop thinking about. "Same spot tomorrow?" "Tell him you're at the store again, lol. That one made my teeth click. The store wasn't even a cover anymore, it was their joke. I screenshot everything. Not just the spicy lines, the boring ones too. "I'm 5 minutes out. She's asleep. Don't text after midnight. Boring is what proves intent." Then I opened notes and started a clean list: date, time, what she told me, what actually happened, supporting screenshot. I saved it all into a folder on my laptop labeled something invisible, Tax 2026. By 4:30 a.m. I had a timeline that didn't need emotion. It spoke in timestamps. At 5:45 my alarm went off like nothing happened. I realized I wasn't shaking anymore. I kissed her forehead out of habit. She mumbled and curled closer like I was still her safe place. Downstairs I made coffee and packed my station bag. Then I did the first move my lawyer later called the smartest part: I rerouted my paycheck. Not emptying accounts, not drama, just opened a new checking account in my name and changed direct deposit before the next cycle. Quiet, legal, practical. Like shutting off a gas valve before the kitchen fills up. Then I logged into every shared financial thing, turned on alerts for charges over $1, lowered limits where I could, removed saved cards from shopping apps, froze my credit with the bureau so no one could open something in my name. In a panic, checked account holder info to make sure I had admin access where it mattered. After that, I pulled every important document from our file box: passports, titles, mortgage packet, insurance, marriage license, because I've seen what people do when their world collapses. They don't just cry. They scramble. I sealed the documents in an envelope and dropped it in my station locker before shift. The locker smelled like disinfectant and stale coffee. It felt safer than my own house. During a break window, I sat outside a law office downtown and met a divorce attorney. I didn't cry, didn't rant. I slid my phone across the desk and opened the folder. "This is what I have." She read it slow and thorough, her face going neutral in that professional way that told me I'd brought her something clean. "Do not confront her yet," she said. "Do not tip her off. Keep your behavior consistent." Consistent. Like protocol. She told me what mattered, what didn't, what not to do with money, what to avoid so I didn't hurt myself legally. Assume every text I send could be read in court. I liked her immediately. When I left, I felt steady, like I'd handed the bleeding to someone who knew where to put pressure. The next phase wasn't about Marissa. It was about Evan. I came home after shift with my face calm and my answers short. Marissa was chirpy, performing normal. Hey babe. We should go out Friday. Like actually go out. Maybe, I said. Her eyes flicked to my phone like she expected a tone. Then she did it again. I might have to stop at the store tomorrow after work, she said casually. The store. My mouth tasted like pennies. I nodded like fine. Later, when she fell asleep, I did the most surgical thing I've ever done, I found Evan's girlfriend. Marissa had said his full name before. A few clicks on social media and there she was, profile picture with him at a Pirates game, arms around his waist, smiling like she believed in him. I didn't message her with rage. I sent one clean note, hi. You don't know me. I'm Marissa's husband. I believe Marissa and Evan are having an affair. I have proof with dates and screenshots. If you want it, I can send it. If you don't, I'll leave you alone. I stared at the screen a full minute before hitting send. My finger didn't shake. She replied 20 minutes later, send it. So I did, enough to establish reality without dumping 1,000 pieces. The store again LOL. The late night calls. The planning. Her response came back like it had been punched out of her chest, oh my god. Then, can we talk? We spoke the next day. Her voice was thin and controlled, not hysterical, just someone trying not to fall apart while reality rearranged itself. She'd suspected something. He'd been helpful to her too. Same script, different house. What do you want to do? She asked. I looked at my timeline. I want out, I said. Clean. Quiet. Legal. A long pause, then, okay. Me too. We coordinated like two people evacuating a building with smoke already in the halls. My lawyer arranged service for Marissa. Evan's girlfriend made her own plan, evidence on the table, no room to talk his way out. We picked a day, and I waited. At home, I stayed consistent. I answered normally. I didn't accuse. I watched Marissa look at me like she couldn't decide if she'd gotten away with it or if she was about to get caught. Then, right on schedule, she said it again. I'm just gonna run to the store after work. I looked up from my coffee, calm as a monitor beep. Okay, I said. Drive safe. She smiled like she'd won something, and I knew the consequences would land like a door closing, quiet, final, impossible to argue with. The weirdest thing about doing everything right is how wrong it still feels in your body. On paper I was executing a plan, screenshots saved, timeline built, lawyer retained, finances secured, documents moved. Inside, I walked around with a siren only I could hear. I still had shifts. I still had to respond to real emergencies while my own life was in controlled collapse. 2 nights after I messaged Evan's girlfriend, we got called for chest pain in Bloomfield. Middle-aged guy, pale, sweaty, insisting he was fine while clutching his sternum. We ran routine, and my partner Dave, older than me, seen everything twice, kept the scene calm with his usual banter. The guy swore it was indigestion. Dave shot me a look like, here we go. And something cracked in my chest because all I could hear was Marissa saying, it's no big deal. He's just helping. It's just the store. A lie doesn't have to be loud. It just has to be repeated. Halfway to Presby, the guy admitted he'd been having pain for 2 days and didn't want to make a fuss. People hide things because they think hiding gives them control. Sometimes it just makes the damage worse. I kept my hands steady, did my job, heard my own calm voice telling him we'd take care of him, while my brain replayed screenshots like a slideshow. Night calls were the worst because the city goes quiet and your thoughts get loud. Between runs, I'd sit in the bay staring at the coffee machine like I could fix my life with a wrench. Dave noticed. You good, kid? Yeah, I said automatically. He snorted. That's not an answer. That's a medic's reflex. I gave him the smallest version. Think my wife's messing around. His face softened into recognition, not pity. Proof. I nodded. He didn't ask for details. Then you protect yourself. Quietly. Already am, I said, colder than I meant. Dave nodded. Good. And when you feel like punching a wall, go run instead. The truth was, running wasn't enough anymore. I'd come home and the house looked the same couch, same framed photos, and it felt staged, like someone rebuilt my life from memory and forgot to put the soul back. Marissa played her part beautifully, touch on my arm, dinner questions, complaints about coworkers, Evan's name dropped like background noise. Every time she said his name, my stomach clenched, not just because of the sex, but because she looked me in the face and fed me a story like I was stupid enough to swallow it. The day she got served, I felt detached, like I was watching myself from above. It happened on a Wednesday, gray sky, cold rain making the sidewalks shine. Marissa curled her hair humming like it was any other day. She came downstairs dressed nicer than usual, black coat, boots, lipstick she didn't wear for date nights with me. Do I look okay? You look fine. She started to mention Evan, stopped herself. Then she grabbed her keys. I'm gonna stop at the store after work, she said, casual, automatic. My jaw tightened. Okay, I said, because consistency mattered. Don't wait up, she added, kissed my cheek, and left. The house went still. Part of me still wanted her to come back and say I'm sorry, I'm done, not for her, for me, so I could stop feeling like my whole marriage was a prank. That evening, when she pulled into the driveway, I watched from the front window like I was on scene. She got out with a small grocery bag, maybe she actually went to Giant Eagle this time to keep the universe from laughing. She walked up the steps, phone in hand, shoulders relaxed. Then the process server stepped out from the side where he'd been waiting in the drizzle, hood up, clipboard, polite face. Marissa H. Her smile faltered. Yes. I have documents for you. The bag slipped in her hand. What is this? Legal documents, he said, holding them out. She took them like they were contaminated, then looked past him, straight at me through the window. I didn't wave. I didn't hide. I stood there with a coffee mug in my hand like a man who finally stopped pretending his house wasn't on fire. She came inside with the papers crumpled in her fist. What the hell is this? She hissed, voice shaking. I set my mug down gently, because even then I couldn't stand chaos. Yes, I said. Her eyes went huge. You're divorcing me. Over what? Because I got rides to work. Because you're paranoid. The last rewrite. I didn't raise my voice. Stop. She froze. Stop lying, I added, quiet, tired, dead honest. You don't have to perform anymore. For a second I thought she might collapse into the truth. Instead she reached for anger. You went through my stuff. You set me up. I didn't set you up, I said. I just stopped catching you. That cracked the mask, not into remorse, into panic. Where am I supposed to go? She whispered, small for the first time in weeks. That question almost broke me, because betrayal is sick that way, you can hate what someone did and still grieve the version you loved. I swallowed hard. You can stay in the guest room for now, I said. But we're done. She tried bargaining, then tears. We can fix, Marissa, I said, and my voice finally sharpened. You didn't make one mistake. You built a whole second life out of lies and expected me to live in it. Later, when she shut herself in the guest room and the house went quiet, I ran, not to shut my brain off, to keep it from eating me alive. The rain had stopped. Streets smelled like wet asphalt and cold air. Past porches with dim lights, normal lives. Somewhere between breath and heartbeat, anger drained into something heavier, grief, for the marriage, for how I believed her, for the version of me that thought love was enough to keep someone honest. I kept running anyway, because acceptance isn't a feeling that shows up all at once. It's a decision you make over and over. The next morning the house felt like it belonged to strangers. Same blinds, same coffee maker, same hook holding my hoodie, yet the air felt like smoke after a fire. I sat at the table with my laptop open because I needed something true in front of me. Marissa stood in the doorway, hands lost. Are you really doing this? Yes. Her eyes flicked to the screen. So that's it. You lawyered up and blindsided me. I closed the laptop gently. You weren't blindsided, I said. You've been practicing for this. Every time you lied, you were practicing. She tried to protest, failed to pick a version. I slid a neat stack of printed papers toward her, copies, not originals. Utilities. Mortgage. Who pays what until the court decides? What is this? What happens next? I said. You'll have access to money. Not unlimited. Not chaotic. Enough. Fair. She stared like it was a trick. So you're controlling me? No. I'm controlling me. I'm making sure nothing gets destroyed. She bristled. I cut in, quiet and sharp, people don't turn into saints when they get caught. That landed. Her voice got smaller. I never thought you'd leave. That confession did more damage than any message. Not I never thought I'd do this, just I never thought you'd do something about it. I'm not leaving because you slept with someone, I said, throat tight. I'm leaving because you looked me in the face and made me feel crazy. Because you built a fake world and expected me to live in it. I was lonely, she whispered. So was I said. Loneliness doesn't make you lie. It reveals what you're willing to do when no one's watching. I didn't want to hurt you. I looked at her fully. That's not true. You didn't want to feel like the bad guy, so you told yourself a story where it was harmless. You kept telling it because it kept you comfortable. She said, it wasn't like that. I didn't argue. I didn't need to. I'm not here to debate it, I said. I'm here to end it. She watched me like she was waiting for me to break. I didn't. Where are you going? I already signed a lease, I said. South Side. Month to month. Close enough to work. Her mouth parted. I already did what I had to. Because the most dangerous moment on any call is the transition, when you think you're safe and everything shifts. I wasn't going to lose control. She sank into the chair. So you're just done. Yes. Then she reached for a last hook. Is it because of Evan? I stared at her. It's because of you. Silence. Then anger leaked back in. And what, you told his girlfriend? I gave her the truth, I said. With proof. Marissa snapped, you had no right, I had every right, I said, voice hard. You brought him into our marriage. I just turned the lights on. You're trying to ruin my life. No, I said. I'm letting you live the one you built. That afternoon I moved my things out, clothes, station gear, my grandmother's watch, a photo of my dad and me at PNC Park. I left behind wedding gifts, matching plates, the couch we picked together, not because I was noble, because objects didn't feel like mine anymore. Marissa hovered, cycling through lines, you're dramatic, you're punishing me, you'll regret this, I'll do anything, please. None of it matched reality. The only consistent thing she'd done was hide. When the last box was taped, I stopped at the doorway and looked back at her, arms wrapped around herself, face blotchy, realizing, consequences, is a real word. Marissa, I said, softer because I'm human, not because I was changing my mind. You'll want to rewrite it. You'll tell people I was cold. You'll tell them I worked too much. You'll tell them you were lonely. You can tell whatever story you want. But you and I both know the truth. And I'm done living inside lies. Her mouth trembled. I loved you. I nodded once. Maybe you did. But you didn't respect me. And I walked out. The first night in my new place I sat on the floor, boxes, a lamp, the city humming outside. The apartment smelled like fresh paint and emptiness. That's when the delayed shock hit. My hands shook like I'd just come off a code. My throat tightened so hard I thought I might throw up. I cried anyway, silent tears, shoulders shaking, because even when you do it right, you still lose something, the future you pictured, the inside jokes, the comfort of believing the person next to you is safe. After the tears, something else crept in, peace. Not happiness. Not yet. Just peace. No more watching her phone. No more swallowing doubt. No more decoding half-truths like their love. A week later I got a message from Evan's girlfriend, ex now, I guess. He tried to deny it until I showed him the timeline. He left. Thank you. I stared at it for a long time, then set my phone down, laced up my running shoes, and went out into the cold Pittsburgh air. I ran until my lungs burned and my thoughts finally loosened their grip, and I realized what I'd tell anyone who finds themselves here: people can make mistakes, but when someone hides things, when they look you in the face and feed you a story, they've already chosen a side. So choose yours. Quietly. Legally. Completely. And walk away before their chaos becomes your funeral.